Well, good evening and hello from Phoenix, everybody. A little bit of jet lag from coming over the Pacific. It seems had some technical difficulties. Apologies for the little bit of a late start. Just going to be Brandon Domain, myself here in the booth tonight. It's Greg Olenek still a little under the weather. Obviously, wish him the best and a quick recovery. But just going to be solo. Everybody will get to be very tired of my voice by the end of this 110-lap, 110-mile Sun Devil 110 at Phoenix Raceway. So we are under the pace lap, doing two pace laps around this racetrack tonight with the different layout there with how these cars will be gridding up out of pit road. But there we see on the left side of the screen our starting lineup. The top 10, Trevor Williams, the only driver this season with a top 10 in both of the official regular season races, will be starting on the pole with his teammate Bo Tiffany starting in position number 2. Row 2 will be Sean Jensick, and last year's dominant driver en route to a second place finish, Lane Doyle. Michael Larch and Mike Lepicki will make up row number 3. Row 4 will be Blair Holloman and Jose Castellanos. Row 5, Ben Park and Chris Hacker. Row 6 will be Kevin Asanio and Bobby Anderson, as you see these drivers making their way around, led by the 46 truck of Trevor Williams until that restart zone. They are in it, green flag in the air, and we are underway from Phoenix. Plethora of ways around that first half of this 1 mile awkwardly shaped racetrack. They had the dog leg available, and we were seeing 4-5 wide right after the start, seeing 3 wide here coming out of turn 4 at the end of lap number 1. And there's that big dog leg dive. Just about everybody taking that flat part of the racetrack before coming up back up that lightly banked dog leg in the straightaway. And there we got Trevor Williams coming down pit road. Looks like he got a penalty on that initial start, going through a pass-through, it looks like. Not too sure what happened on that one, but that is a huge moment here on a very short track. We're only looking at about 27-second laps. A pass-through may very well be putting Trevor Williams 1 lap down right out of the gate. Now, we did see a few cautions in this race last season, but not as many as you would have expected. Only 8 cautions on a 1 mile racetrack as tightly as this run runs. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be a tough bit there for Trevor Williams, as it does appear he will fall a lap down, and he's now sitting on pit road. That doesn't appear to be a penalty, actually. Not sure if something's going on there for the 46 truck. He's going to be sitting 42nd out of the 43 cars that signed up for this race. That is a very a concerning issue there for Williams in that 46. But back out onto the racetrack, side-by-side racing here. Ben Park making the pass on the inside. He's going to pull Kyle Spies, Kevin Asanio, and Lane Doyle along with them as they're all trying to make their way around Bo Tiffany, who's just stuck on the high side, getting freight trained at the moment. See him losing 4 or 5 spots there, all in about a half mile around this racetrack. That's 5 quick laps already in the books here in Phoenix. Oh, contact there with the 23 and the 49. Bo Tiffany turned around. Oh, and he almost avoided another shot. That looks like one of the JBR trucks. Believe that's the 35. Also got the 66 and the 51 caught up in this one as well. As we go to the admin box rec replay to take another look at this one. We did see it live, but we'll get a better look here. As it started with Mike Lepicki in the 23 and Bo Tiffany in the 49. Just looks like a little bit more of a run and a speed difference there. It's Tiffany turned around. I believe that is the 35 of Jacob Zala. You see the 51 of Matt Greathouse involved, as well as the 66 of Kyle Ryan. We'll take the overhead look. Just light contact, but right at the point of entry into that turn. That is a bad spot to have it. Tell you what, the 66 and 51, they slid it, but I don't think they made any contact anywhere. They should be all right. Take another look here. It's going to be the vantage point of the 66 truck, Kyle Ryan. See all the chaos going in front. He gets onto the brakes, hits the flat, and it looks like it from this angle, but that overhead shot didn't appear that he made any contact. So he and Greathouse in the 51 should be all right, but you see that heavy damage there to Bo Tiffany right on the nose of that that truck. You got the 19, Chris Hacker, with some damage as well. He's here subbing tonight for Byron Jones, who unable to be here tonight. So Chris Hacker subbing in, and that's a familiar name. Does have a couple starts actually in ARCA in the truck series level in real life. Does meet the I rating requirements, is eligible to be racing here tonight in a substitute position. Up front, under caution, we got Sean Jensick. It'll be Michael Larch running in second, Blair Holloman in third, Ben Park fourth, Kyle Spees in fifth. And to go back, Trevor Williams did get back out onto the racetrack just before that caution came out. There he is back out on the track. He is going to be in 42nd position right now, one lap down. Probably move up to 41st, though, as we saw Bo Tiffany still getting repairs on pit road. The Trevor Williams back to pit road. I'm wondering if he's got some kind of a issue going on with maybe the equipment, maybe like a wheel or pedals or monitor issue or something. It's very odd to see this transpiring here for Trevor Williams after starting out front on the pole. I got to imagine this is going to be something that's kind of off-track issues there for that truck. So hopefully everything all right there for Trevor. We do still have those lights on the iRacing pace car, and since we didn't get a chance to do that during the pre-race show with those little bit of technical hiccups that we had, we'll take a look at the points here entering regular season race number 3 of 13 before that 7-race playoff. Blair Holloman, the points leader, currently running third here in this race. Ben Park, second in the points, fourth in the running order, and fifth in the running order is third in the points with Kyle Spees. Matt Greathouse did get caught up in that first caution. He'll be in fourth in points. Trevor Williams, we've spotlighted his issues here tonight. Tied with Greathouse for fourth. Then the race leader, Sean Jensick, sitting there in sixth. Troy Techmeyer, Austin Purnell, Jeffrey Vickery, and Andrew Harris, as well as Tyler Markle and Jacob Zala, rounding out the top 10. Jose Castellano is going to be the first one out, 2 points away with Jose Ruiz and Danny Dow, Brad Herman, John Holliday, all within 10 points of that cut line. Man, just above that bubble spot, though, Michael Larch, who had a solid start. I'm not sure where he fell off to, actually, taking a look up there, but don't see him. Actually, don't see him out there. I thought I saw the 48 truck. Oh, there he is, up in second place. Sorry about that. Outside row 1. I was forgot to scroll up. But yeah, so he's the bubble driver sitting there currently second in the running order at this point. So pace car has dove off onto pit road. Sean Jensick on the inside, Michael Larch on the outside, going to be the front row. Once they hit that Geico restart zone, fair game. There's the green flag. We're back underway with the Silverback Tax Solutions green flag here in Phoenix. Big time jump there for Sean Jensick. He's opened up about a 3 or 4 truck length advantage as they make their way through turns 1 and 2. Nice size leader for Blair Holloman. Michael Larch was first on the outside. He's going to fall back in line in 4th place here. So that inside line, they've got the advantage with the dog leg, and it's really playing out. We got a quick caution once again. And looks like it's Walt Lepicki. And there is the 64 Tank Racing truck. Doesn't look too bad from what we've seen on that truck, but we'll take a look at the admin box rec replay for the second time here on lap number 12. So we got Lepicki in the gray and orange truck on the inside. Going into turn 3, just loses it, and wow, hits that inside wall hard, hits the outside wall just as hard. I'm actually shocked there's kind of minimal damage for all that impact there for Lepicki. So here's the view from inside the cockpit for Walt Lepicki. Not sure what happened there. Just lost it going into the turn. Got real loose underneath him. Kicked out and caught that inside wall, and it shot him straight up the racetrack. There's a few drivers very lucky that they were not in the way of that path of the 64 Toyota Tundra. But pretty heavy damage. From a heavy impact, I should say. Not as much damage as I anticipated for Lepicki there. So might be all right, but we got our second caution underway here on lap number 13. Now on to lap 14, and while we got an opportunity, go ahead and hit the commercial and come right back here in Phoenix.
Want to be a part of an established league on iRacing? A league that's competitive, fun, and above all fair? Look no further than Speed Racing Network. Originally known as Mid-South Madness, SRN has evolved into a league that can bring the best out in any given driver. Drivers work their way up through the ranks to hopefully one day call themselves a champion of Speed Racing Network. If you're interested in joining, don't hesitate to reach out to league admins to claim your spot today. Maybe you'll end up in the history books. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor in Speed Racing Network, feel free to head over to www.speedracingnetwork.com and reach out to an admin today. And as always, remember to go faster.
Silverback Tax Solutions specializes in dealing with IRS tax problems. If you are receiving threatening letters from the IRS, or if the IRS has placed liens or levies on your property, Silverback Tax Solutions can help you find relief. We have worked with hundreds of people to resolve their tax problems. If you're behind on filing your taxes, it's never too late to get on the right track. Silverback Tax Solutions can help with that also. Don't let another night go by where you lose sleep worrying about the IRS or your taxes. Head over to www.silverbacktacks.com or call 662-996-4357 and contact an enrolled agent today. We can help you gain peace of mind and deal with those problems for you.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to Phoenix Raceway as we are one lap away from getting back under green at the Sun Devil 110 as we work lap number 16 under our second caution of the evening, but we are going to be right back to green flag racing here very, very shortly with Sean Jensick, the race leader outside front row here on this third start or restart on the night is going to be Blair Holloman. Kyle Spees and Michael Larch will make up row 2. Lane Doyle and Ben Park row 3 with Nathan Nixon, Michael Madden row 4, Kevin Asanio and Jose Castellanos rounding out the top 10 as we get back underway. The Silverback Tax Solutions green flag, third one of the night here at the Sun Devil 110. Sean Jensick, another big jump there, getting right down onto that dog leg, opening up a pretty healthy lead once again. Inside line, looks like that's going to pay off once again here for Kyle Spees. He's going to make his way possibly up to the number 2 spot. Blair Holloman holding very tough on the outside, though. He might actually be able to clear Spees going into turn 3. Not quite. They'll stay side by side, working through the longer of the turns, kind of a little bit wider as well. Gives you a little bit more maneuverability than 1 and 2. Big cut through the dog leg for Blair Holloman, and that's going to give him a heck of a lead over Kyle Spees there in clear in position number 2. Behind them, it'll be Ben Park and Michael Madden rounding out the top 5 after this restart. Still some side-by-side racing just inside the top 10. This is the race for 8th and 9th with Jose Castellanos in the 5 truck, Landon Cardulo in the 13. And we got another caution out on the racetrack. Oh my, we got a yard sale out here. I think I counted about 9 or 10 trucks. Unbelievably heavy impact. see the 23 of Mike Lepicki. He's already got one caused caution for the opening one tonight. Remember, 2 caused cautions is a DQ. So that is something to keep in mind as we're following the 83 of Rob Yost. And we got one already around. Big impact there to the 17, the 94. Then just name a truck and it's involved. My goodness. Looking at a dozen trucks here and just a scattering of vehicles. And it's going to be Tyler Markle was the first one that we saw turned around in that last shot. He does catch the wall a little bit. And I think he gets a little net code in part with that. Man, we got wrecking even in front of all this, too. So you see Trevor Williams. I don't think Trevor Williams got much damage in that. He just got the lucky dog to get back onto the lead lap. As we see that, oh, that's heavy net code. There is still a few inches there. They might have been making impact eventually, but that wasn't in that moment. And we just saw everybody just piling into that entry to turn 3 and just adding up truck after truck after truck. So 20 laps in, still 90 laps to go. A couple things to keep in mind here. I mentioned 2 caused cautions is a DQ here in SRN. Obviously, I don't believe that we're going to see anybody with their second one just yet here in the third caution. But the other thing to keep in mind, 17 incident points is treated just the same. Be removed from the race at that point, and car contact is 4 points on itself. So there's a couple guys that we've seen now with a couple of incidents out here pretty quickly, and they're going to have to be very cautious making their way around here for another 90 miles. So before we get back to green flag racing here, let's take a look at our week 3 matchups here for our third race of the regular season. And you'll see a whole lot of 1-1 teams. There's only a couple that are on either side and bookending the standings here, but we do have that 2-0 team, Bobby Anderson Racing. They'll be up against Tank Racing tonight. The 0-2 team will be Phoenix Virtual Racing. They'll be up against Zoo Yost. Then a couple of 1-1 matchups here with JW Racing against Rat Pack Racing. TJ's team racing against Jonathan Beyer Racing. So still plenty to play for here in this new format that we're seeing. It's kind of got that fantasy football vibe over the course of the season. But you also see here how even the points are throughout all this. And that's kind of what's determining things. And you can really look at it. The 1-2-0 team actually tied for second in points. The one team with the most points at 191 is Zoo Yost. And at 171 points, tied for second, is the 0-2 team. It has been absolutely wild. It's all about who you match up against any given week. And we have seen that really play a toll in this new format that's really got a lot of the drivers excited. A lot of the teams feeling pretty good out here with this new format. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out here as this race continues. And we are back underway. Silverback Tax Solutions green flag out once again here in Phoenix. And once again, Sean Jensick with another giant jump getting into that dog leg. It's almost like a super boost out there for the race leader. Taking that inside line, gets the dog leg, gets the advantage on the start as well. And he is making the most of it. Race for second, actually going to be a lot more single file this time with speeds just ahead of Madden and Holloman. Then we'll see a little bit of side-by-side back around 9th place. It looks like Landon Cardulo and Jose Castellanos there in the background, and the red truck and the black truck are the ones side-by-side. There's a look at Castellanos in the 5. Cardulo to his inside, and the 13 got side-by-side with Larch and Asanio as well behind those two. And then it's pretty much single file all the way back from 8th place on. As Cardulo will make the clear and contact there. I believe that's Bobby Anderson in the 3, and that is an unbelievable save. Just Nathan Nixon, all the same. Jose Castellanos sliding it through 3 and 4. He's able to save it. We're going to see a lot of shuffling, but no caution and no added damage to anybody out there, and there's going to be a lot of grateful drivers for that. Still seeing 3 wide, 4 wide working their way through 1 and 2, and then you jump up to the top 7, 8 trucks, and rather peaceful in single file as they complete lap number 25 of 110. It is two completely different races out here right now from the top 7, and then you go a second and a half on back, and it is just a hornet's nest back there with everybody just going absolutely crazy at this moment, trying to figure out how they're going to sort this thing out, and if this thing's going to be a bunch of short sprints between cautions. They're going to see some aggression out here, and some guys really trying to make up as many positions as they can while the green is out. And that could play into an interesting strategy if we get a long run and some guys are kind of taking it easy. May see it come back to them in very big gains very shortly. This track, not hugely terrible on eating up tires, but it's not going to be gentle on them either, especially if you're aggressive. Go back to the side-by-side racing here. That's going to be Nathan Nixon in the light green truck, and to his inside is the 36 of Austin Purnell, now the 85 of Brad Herman. The inside line got a lot of power to it here early on, seeing a lot of passes with that inside line. Not a one-groove racetrack, but not much action going on from anybody on the outside. They're able to hold on for a while, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be the passing groove just yet. So everybody's still on, I'm going to say fresh tires, but still relatively new at this point in the run with how many caution laps we've had. There's only been about a dozen green flag laps to this point. Nice race here. This is going to be Landon Cardulo in the 13, Ben Park in the 8. A couple of drivers here sitting in some solid positioning, running 6th and 7th. Ben Park entering this race 2nd in the point standings. Just 2 points behind Blair Holloman, 19 points ahead of the cut line, as there's really only been one driver that's avoided much trouble in both of the first 2 races of the season. That's really log-jammed the standings, and that's Trevor Williams, who's had his own issues here tonight. So that's kind of changing up the standings a whole lot here early on in the season. As we ride on the bed of the truck for the 5th place runner, Lane Doyle in the 47, led 103 laps of 110 last season en route to a 2nd place finish. Sitting there in the 5th position here tonight, still well within striking distance. All of these top 7 just about 2 seconds away from Sean Jensick in the lead, who's only opened up about a half-second advantage on Kyle Spies. So this top 7 really pretty tightly packed, and looks like Kevin Asanio and Michael Larch starting to make their way up towards this group as well in 8th and 9th. So we might be seeing a few more trucks starting to make their way into this this battle as well. Back up front, the 29 Toyota Tundra of Sean Jensick, still holding about that half-second lead over Kyle Spies. A couple of drivers inside the top 3 in the point standings here early on. Jensick in 1st, Spies in 3rd in the point standings. And both of them pulling away a little bit from 3rd place Michael Madden. They've gained about a 10th or maybe 2/10 the last couple of laps here. So looks like 1st and 2nd starting to really do pretty well, but we're starting to see some lap traffic as well for the first time tonight, as we're about 10 laps into this run. And this is something we haven't seen just yet. Tight moment there for Kyle Spies, working his way around the damaged 94 truck of Lucas Lyons. Gonna get by cleanly, but that costs him just a little bit of momentum there. That's something to keep in mind as this race goes on, too. When you start having to navigate the lap traffic, it's still a tight racetrack. It's very fast, very flowy for a 1-mile racetrack, but it does close up on you pretty quick when you're side by side with somebody, and you can easily catch somebody at the wrong spot as well. And it's hard to work your way around lap traffic at times, especially in some more congested areas of this racetrack. See on the bottom of the screen, lap times for Sean Jensick and Kyle Spies. It's relatively even. Seeing a couple hundredths here, and then he's going a couple hundredths back the other direction. So they're pretty much trading blows. It's stayed at about that 4 or 5 tenths for much of this green flag run since that restart, but they've both been pulling away from the rest of the field about a 1/10 of a second a lap. So they're doing a really good job navigating this lap traffic as they've started to come to it. So the field's starting to spread itself out a little bit. We do have a little bit of side-by-side racing developing here with Landon Cardulo taking a peek to the inside of Lane Doyle. Gets a little tight up there and closes in on that door of the 47 truck. No contact, no harm, no foul. And it's going to be a position gain for the 13, but might have a little bit of a crossover here as Lane Doyle diving down to the inside. We also got side-by-side for Trevor Williams working his way back up through the field after he was a lap down on lap number 1, pulling it to pit road. Still not sure what happened there, but looks like whatever it was has sorted itself out, because he's gone from last place on the racetrack a lap down, got the lap back as a lucky dog, and now he's all the way back up to the 15th position. So what a run there for Trevor Williams. Obviously fast as the pole sitter. He's proven that he's got some speed in that truck for the race as well. See the pass going for Bobby Anderson just ahead of David Miller in the 21 truck. Miller trying to make his way back around, takes a peek on the inside to go into the turn 3. Big run there. See if he can hang on to it. And he'll take advantage of that dog leg to pull ahead, most likely of the 3 before getting into turn 1, but they're still going to be side by side. That dog leg, you do cut the distance, but you can carry a little bit of speed as well on that banked part of the front straightaway. That does give you a little bit of an advantage to kind of counter it a little bit. So we see Blair Holloman on the outside of Landon Cardulo. That the race now for 4th and 5th. So Landon Cardulo starting to come alive here, making some passes one by one, working his way through the field. He was 4th place in this race last season, now running in the 4th place here tonight as well. So that 13 truck going to be a pretty solid contender, it looks like, if he can make up some of this time on Jensic and Spies, who continue to inch away from the rest of the field. Interesting part of this racetrack, seeing how many different lines these drivers take, as we've seen some guys that started on the inside now making their way up to the outside in 1 and 2. 3 and 4 looks like predominant line, still going to be that inside line. Not too much of a shock. Does open up the dog leg if you're racing with somebody side by side. Just go a little bit farther back to Austin Purnell in the 36 truck. And mention real life racing and iRacing and how things kind of correlate, or if they do correlate or anything like that. But Austin Purnell actually winning the championship at his local track in real life. So congratulations to Austin for that accomplishment. Well done there, and representing himself and a little bit of representing SRN as well. Very proud of him here in Speed Racing Network, and very timely. We do have a caution out on the racetrack for the 4th time tonight. We see the 9. Oh, hello. I think that was Andrew Harris in the 87 truck that nearly just had nowhere to go on that one, as the 9 of John Holliday was starting to make his way back out under speed. And we'll see what happened to start all that, as the 9 gets a big run down the dog leg, and oh wow, didn't really have a whole lot of room to get back up there. That's going to be a tough call. It's a tough call there. I mean, typically what we've talked about is if you take the dog leg, it's your responsibility to safely get back up onto the racing surface. Not a whole lot of room for Holliday to do that, though. And wow, 87 and Andrew Harris almost just T-boning the 9 of John Holliday. Looks like they got away both unscathed on that one. But what that does do is open up caution pit stops here for the first time tonight for much of the field, as Sean Jensic going to lead them down pit road. Looks like everybody going to be a taker here. We got one that's going through. I'm not sure if that was 2 tires or if that was a... it sounds like it was a lap truck that just incorrectly went down pit road. So that was a little bit of a deceiving moment there, as Sean Jensic going to be the first one off pit road legally, as he will continue to lead the race. Kyle Spies, Michael Madden, Blair Holloman, Landon Cardulo will continue to be the top 5. Lane Doyle, Brad Herman, Michael Larch, Kevin Asanio, and Ben Park will round out the top 10 once we get back underway here in Phoenix very, very shortly.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Silverback Tax Solutions specializes in dealing with IRS tax problems. If you are receiving threatening letters from the IRS, or if the IRS has placed liens or levies on your property, Silverback Tax Solutions can help you find relief. We have worked with hundreds of people to resolve their tax problems. If you're behind on filing your taxes, it's never too late to get on the right track. Silverback Tax Solutions can help with that also. Don't let another night go by where you lose sleep worrying about the IRS or your taxes. Head over to www.silverbacttax.com or call 662-996-4357 and contact an enrolled agent today. We can help you gain peace of mind and deal with those problems for you.
Want to be a part of an established league on iRacing? A league that's competitive, fun, and above all fair? Look no further than Speed Racing Network. Originally known as Mid-South Madness, SRN has evolved into a league that can bring the best out in any given driver. Drivers work their way up through the ranks to hopefully one day call themselves a champion of Speed Racing Network. If you're interested in joining, don't hesitate to reach out to league admins to claim your spot today. Maybe you'll end up in the history books. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor in Speed Racing Network, feel free to head over to www.speedracingnetwork.com and reach out to an admin today. And as always, remember to go fast.
Just in time for the green flag to come back out here on lap number 48. As Sean Jensick leads the field back under green flag conditions. Michael Madden going to make the move to second place. Kyle Spees will be third as they work their way through turns 1 and 2. Back out on to that back straightaway, and we are right back under caution here for the 5th time. And I believe that's Trevor Williams back there. We got a few more still wrecking there coming out of turn number 2. Ay, ay, ay. Well, the old saying, cautions breed cautions, as we get the admin box rec replay for the 5th time here tonight. And I feel like this is going to be a couple different incidents. So we see 3 wide. Nathan Nixon in the 11 got loose and got Jose Castellanos there. And then the 46, not sure who that was to the inside. His teammate, actually. It was a 45 truck, Dean Gagliano, made a little contact, and they kind of did a little mutual spin. That stacked up the field, and then we had another wreck in front of this one. So we basically had 3 wrecks in the span of about maybe 500, 600 feet that bring out this caution. We'll ride on board at the 45 of Dean Gagliano. So kind of come up just that little bit tight space there. He was 3 wide, middle 3 wide, entering that turn before the 11 spun it. There you see the 5 of Jose Castellanos. See a few more piling in at the end of this one. And man, just a rough night here for these drivers thus far. And hate to bring it up, but we got to bring it up again. Remember, 17 incident points get you out of this race, and as many big stack-ups as we've seen thus far. And I think we might be seeing a few of those popping up here tonight, as we still got 60 laps, 60 miles remaining here in Phoenix. So taking a look through the leaderboard here, Going to be showing 26 trucks on the lead lap. Few of those did get damaged here in this last one, so they're on pit road. So we might be seeing maybe about 23, 24 trucks on the lead lap when we get restarted here for what will be the second half of the race, which is going to be a little bit tight. One thing that is going to be opening up here, we keep seeing these cautions, should make it very easy for these guys to make it the rest of the way. On 60 laps, it's going to be tight if it stays green the whole way. I think they might be able to do so, with this only being a 1 mile racetrack, but I mean, they get more cautions. It's just going to make it very easy to stay out there, and then it's just going to come down to tire strategy and how this race plays out. If anybody wants to take a gamble, if we see a late race caution like we did last night in the Cup Series race, with the caution coming out with 3 laps to go, that really kind of flipped that race upside down on its head for a lot of the field, with different strategies happening there. But one guy that might not mind seeing it stay green the rest of the way is Sean Jensick. He's been pacing the field ever since he took the lead during lap number 1 after Trevor Williams came down pit road, and it's been Sean Jensick's race and his control ever since then. Michael Madden going to be sitting there in P number 2. Another nice quiet run there for Madden, who just continues to do that time in, time out. Kyle Spees, 3rd place in the point standings, sitting 3rd here in the race as well. 4th place will be Landon Cardulo in the JBR Toyota Tundra. And 5th place, Blair Holloman, our points leader, will be rounding out our top 5. Just to his outside on this restart is going to be Brad Herman in the 85. And come back a couple. Oh, wow, just noticed that. Thank you for that in the ear. 37 positions gained for Brad Herman, working his way through this one. That is unbelievable performance from him after he started dead last, 43rd. So a heck of a run for Brad Herman, who trying to work his way back up into the top 15 in points. He's only 10 points behind that cut line coming into this race. Still very, very early, but there's always a lot of times where you wish, maybe I wish I had 1 more point, 2 more points. It's never too early to be thinking about points. So 10 points out, big run here for Brad Herman. Pretty impressive to try to work his way back through. But back under green for our 6th green flag of the night. Brought to you by Silverback Tax Solutions. Sean Jensick tried the outside this time and still pulled away to a gigantic lead of about 3 or 4 truck lengths. By the time they get down to turns 1 and 2, Michael Madden going to be on the inside, trying to hold off Landon Cardulo on the outside. Cardulo continuing to chip his way towards the front. He's now up to P number 2 after starting in 16th. So a quiet and solid run, working his way spot by spot for that 13 truck, and he's proven to be a pretty good contender here for that 29 of Sean Jensick as we hit the halfway point here at the end of this lap. Like we've seen all night, the front of the field sorting itself out single file pretty quickly, and that's been to their advantage. Really been able to pull away from the rest of the field once you start seeing that side-by-side racing where you just can't really get too comfortable in the way that you're running around the racetrack. This time around, that's going to start up around position number 9, seeing some contact, a little bit of side-by-side, some dooring each other there, going back from David Miller, Ben Park on back. That's just going to be a little bit beneficial here for that top 7 that's really starting to inch away, really the top 6. From Jensick to Kevin Asanio, who's running in that 6th position in the all-white truck just at the end of that single file line. Solid run for that 14. Sean Jensick once again pulling away 0.6 of a second. A little bit of a blink out there. That's going to be concerning there for Sean Jensick. There's never a good time to be blinking out on the racetrack, especially once you're the leader. That would be a terrible way to have to lose a lead. If he gets called on that for blinking too frequently, he might be told to either pull off the racing line and fall back, or even pull it into the pits until it calms down. So hopefully that clears up for Jensick, as he's been putting on a heck of a performance tonight. Nice array of lines through the dog leg there. That the race for 4th, 5th, and 6th. It's going to be third, fourth, and fifth, as you saw Kyle Spees, Brad Herman, and Blair Holloman all taking very different lines through that dog leg. Whole lot of ways you can take that. It's a little dicey on fresh tires. It does get a little bit loose on you how flat that is. You're still making a pretty sharp turn off of turn 4, but there we go. The big dive there. Blair Holloman really cutting down to the inside, and hearing a little bit more chatter about blinking for the 29 truck. This is going to become a story here pretty soon if it continues. Really going to have to be keeping an eye on this if it's Sean Jensick, and that's going to be a really tough situation. Nobody ever really wants to call that on, especially on a race leader, but it might be coming here pretty soon. That 29 truck in the lead continues to blink. Looks like it's cleared up here for the past few seconds. Hopefully that is the case. They work their way around some lap traffic. It's going to be the 97 of Sean Kosier, who's the last one on the lead lap. That's going to put us down to 23 trucks on the lead lap. Kosier will be the leader in the lucky dog. He's got some company with a handful of others one lap down. So the next one that would go a lap down currently is Trevor Williams, 23rd on the racetrack. Now he's still about a half lap ahead of the race leaders. But if we get a long run, that might be something to keep an eye on here, as lap traffic could become a issue for not just the leaders, but for those that are the lap traffic. It's a tough spot to be in. Trevor Williams has been pretty fast out there. You see him making his way around Rob Yost for the 22nd position. '46 truck does look stout tonight, just doesn't seem to be having a whole lot of brakes go his way. Let's check in from the 46 to the 47, Lane Doyle. It looks like he got loose there coming out of turn number 2. Took it all the way down towards that inside wall. That's going to be an advantage for his teammate Michael Larch to make his way around for the 7th position. And Lane Doyle dropping back a few spots here for the first time tonight. And looks like he's got some damage there on that right side. I'm wondering if he caught the wall. We got a caution out on the racetrack. And it's going to be, oh no. It's Andrew Harris, Matthew Greathouse, and Lucas Lyons gets caught up in the follow-through of that one. And you see the whole field about stopped on the back straightaway, trying to make sure they don't pile into this one as well. So we saw the aftermath. We'll take a look at what happened here on the admin box rec replay for yet another caution here tonight. See the 87, the 51 teammates. And the 87 of Andrew Harris catches the wall, just kind of shakes him loose. He comes down the racetrack, and Matt Greathouse just nowhere to go on that one. Andrew Harris tried to back up and get out of the way, and backed up right into the path of Lucas Lyons, who is still going pretty fast down out of turn number 2, working his way back around. It's an unfortunate situation there. Nothing Lucas could do on that one, and you see the leaders right there, right behind, not far away from all that either. Good job from everybody there, making sure they got checked up cleanly. Doesn't look like we see any contact there through that top 12, top 15 trucks. So we're going to have a couple drivers staying out, a lot of them making their way down pit road though, but Landon Cardulo is going to be one of them staying out. We see there's going to be a lap truck between him and Brad Herman in second staying out. Blair Holloman going to stay out as well. Just 3 trucks will be staying out, it looks like. Everybody else making their way down pit road to get some 4 fresh tires, fill that up on fuel. They're not going to have to worry about it the rest of the way. They're going to have some pretty fresh tires compared to that 13, the 85, and the 10 here. Not the longest of green flag runs that we've seen to put some wear on those, but might be just enough as this race works down towards the end. So 45 laps to go as we work under the 6th caution of the night, and this will be the last action for the Truck Series here for about 2 weeks, as we'll have next week off across all 3 divisions of Speed Racing Network, and then the racing will pick up at the start of November as we get ready to go from Phoenix to the first road course race of the season for the TJ's Team Truck Series, and that'll be the Charlotte Roval, the Roval 80, 35 laps around, I believe Dale Earnhardt Jr. called it Frankenstein's monster of road courses, as it's part oval, part road course inside that infield. Always a challenging technical racetrack. Always leads to some pretty good excitement as well. So that'll be the test awaiting the drivers right after the Halloween break, as we'll have that next week off. And before we get to that break, of course, we will be back here tomorrow night, 8:55 p.m. Eastern Time, with the coverage as the Xfinity Series goes to Kansas for the Jayhawk 150. Cup Series off as well next week. Obviously, they'll come back with their first road course race of the season with the Windy City 110, November 1st from the Chicago Street Circuit. First time we'll be seeing that in SRN. Pace car lights off on the iRacing pace car that is out in front of the field. Now he'll dive off the track onto pit road, as be Landon Cardulo resuming the pacing duties for quite some time here. This long run towards that Geico restart zone that is in use here, unlike last night, which did not have the restart zone at Twin Ring Motegi for the Cup Series race. Keep in mind, top 3 all still out on their original set of tires from the last time they came down about 30 laps ago. Everybody else on fresh tires as they all make that dive down through the dog leg, as we're back under green with the Silverback Tax Solutions green flag. Cardulo leading about 3 car lengths ahead of a 3-wide race. Blair Holloman on the inside, Brad Herman in the middle, Sean Jensick on the outside with the fresh tires, and he's going to make that stick and move up into the second. We got Reckon out of turn 2. Saw Michael Madden involved in that. Jose Castellanos involved in that. Looks like Bo Tiffany. See the 54 with Jason Kratke involved in this as well. Man, and these drivers, just seems like once one gets a little bit snake bit. Oh wow, they're still wrecking. It looked like. It seems like once one gets wrecking, it's just kind of adding up, and they're all just piling in at this point in the race. It's going to be a frustrating night for a lot of guys. We see the 54 and the 15. Looks like 54 of Kratke just gets loose. Slides into the 15 of Michael Madden. Jose Castellanos, I think, trying to avoid it, just got loose and slid it. I don't think he hit anything there. So Castellanos in the black and gray, number 5. There's the wreck ahead. Yeah, he just kind of slid it. I'm not sure if that was cold tires or he just kind of overcorrected trying to get away from the wreck in front of him. But either way, that thing just snapped around on him. The original incident here, 54 in the middle, he definitely gets loose. I'm going to say that's probably cold tires and just being in the middle 3 wide. Really uncomfortable spot there. Michael Madden, a little bit of damage from that contact. Not too sure Bo Tiffany got anything more than he had damage-wise. So further up, we saw a little bit more. This is after the caution came out. Man, it's a 7. Jeffrey Vickery. Bobby Anderson was kind of in the middle. He got hit and run up into the 88 of Jose Ruiz. So it's a whole lot for these admins to kind of unpack here in this one. I'm going to say that was Bobby Anderson actually kind of getting in. Oh, wow. And there's Raul Meza. Lane Doyle getting caught up in that one as well. Did not catch that until just now. So he's going to have a little bit more damage on that 47, but it's unfortunate. Team Trucks, the 3 and the 7, getting into each other. Saw the 54, another one of their teammates in Kratke involved in the original cause of that caution. That's a expensive yellow flag there for Bobby Anderson Racing. A lot of damage to those trucks and a lot of positions lost as well, as they are the 1-2-0 team entering this race. Tank Racing, their opponents this week. That's going to make that race pretty interesting here over the final 40 laps. So while we were looking at the rec replay, Landon Cardulo decided to make his way to pit road, but Brad Herman and Blair Holloman deciding to stay out on the racetrack still on those tires that are now about 28 laps old. Landon Cardulo, I mean, why not come down? There's not many trucks on pit road and on the lead lap. Some of them still damaged. Some of them came on pit road, so he made that pit stop and only comes out of this in 14th place. Now, the one thing he's got to be afraid of is all these cautions we've seen thus far right around the middle of the field, right around that 10th position, it seems like. So that's going to be a little tough there. It's going to be a little dicey working his way back through the field. As field getting side by side once again. We're getting ready to go back green flag racing here very, very shortly. So that's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. Actually, the light's still on. I think everybody's just getting a little antsy wanting to restart this race. So since we have a little bit more time, kind of take a look through the top 10 here. Sean Jensick, once again, the race leader. Pretty sure he has locked up the bonus point for most laps led tonight as well. Brad Herman will be restarting in position number 2 for Zoo Yost Racing. Row number 2 is going to be Kyle Spees for Bobby Anderson Racing on the inside. To the outside, another one of the Zoo Yost trucks, as it'll be the 10 of Blair Holloman. Row number 3 will be seeing Michael Larch restarting in position number 5 for JW Racing. Phoenix Virtual Racing represented with their highest runner right now, Kevin Asanio, in position number 6. It'll be David Miller, also out of PVR, in position number 7. Tank Racing's lead driver will be Ben Park in the 8, running in 8th place. Austin Purnell will be the top JBR driver in position number 9, and to his outside it'll be Rat Pack Racing bookending the top 10 in the lead, and in 10th with Danny Dow rounding out our top 10. Down to 22 trucks on the lead lap as we get restarted here. A handful of those still going to be pretty heavily damaged, but up front it's a lot of clean race trucks, including that Rat Pack Racing 29 Premier Toyota Tundra for Sean Jensick, as once again 0.3 of a second out in front by the time he gets to turn number 1. Kyle Spees going to make the move on the inside. He'll get around Brad Herman for second place. Herman trying to hold off his fellow counterpart with the tire strategy. We got cars up and trucks up into the wall out of turn number 2. Looked like Nathan Nixon was one. I believe there was another one in front of him as well, as the aggressive restarts really playing a big role in this race and adding a lot of damage to some of these trucks. See that 11, that right side just pancaked. Back out in front, top 4 single file, side-by-side racing for 5th and 6th, just like when they restarted. Michael Larch on the inside, Kevin Asanio on the outside. But Sean Jensick continuing to prove incredibly difficult to pass. In that 29 truck, Kyle Spees going to be the next one to try to take a shot at making that pass happen. Still sticking about 2 truck lengths behind. One real loose there coming out of turn 2. That looked like the 8 of Ben Park. He's going to fall out of the top 10, but I do believe he kept it off the wall to avoid some damage. And yeah, that truck's still looking rather clean, so I do believe he did keep it off the wall, but he is going to lose quite a few positions. Running in position number 8 on the restart, he's going to fall back to the 15th position, as he's now racing with Jeffrey Vickery to try to recover some more spots here. But handful of a moment there for the runner, the second place runner in the point standings, Ben Park. Checking in on Danny Dow, Landon Cardulo. This is the race for 9th and 10th. So Cardulo already picking up a handful of spots since the restart on the freshest tires of them all. We've about 5 laps fresher than everybody else out there, aside from Herman and Holloman, who are still 33 laps old on the tires. We got contact. Danny Dow sliding it around. He's going to save it, but a caution does come out on the racetrack. That was an incredible save from Dow to keep that truck underneath him. Man, if we had the Save of the Night award, this might be it right there as we go to the admin box rec replay, and a little bit of a Brandon Jones moment. Not too sure that we got the caution out of this, but iRacing did find a reason to give a caution, but it was a heck of a save here. So watch the 13 sticking the nose to the inside. That's tight racing there. There's a little bit of space to the inside. Dow did come down as well. That's pretty mutual right there, but again, glad I'm not an admin, not having to make these decisions. So we'll see how that one plays out. It could be nobody's fault as well. It'll just go down as a racing incident as we ride on board with the 2 truck of Danny Dow. That is textbook saving that truck, only losing a couple of spots. Does get bailed out a little bit by the caution there as well, as long as he's not going to be the one that goes down as the cause of the caution, which will come with the EOL penalty. But unbelievable job by Danny Dow, the Mid-South Madness champion in Season 1. As going back live, we do see some trucks down on pit road. We got Kyle Spees giving up position number 2, Blair Holloman and Brad Herman giving up positions 3 and 4 as well. It looks like most everybody else staying out, so I'm not too sure why Kyle Spees came down. He came in with everybody else in that mass group that came in 2 cautions ago. Not many other takers from that group. And now watching the 29 right in the apron, not too sure if he's thinking fuel mileage. Shouldn't be an issue. Maybe just trying to get a little comfortable out there, moving around. So Kyle Spees is going to be the first one off pit road out of that group. And Blair Holloman, actually, excuse me, is going to be the first one off pit road. He'll be rejoining the race in 13th position. So Kyle Spees will fall from 2nd to 14th. So we're going to have a dozen trucks still out there. So within the final 30 laps here in Phoenix to the advertised 110-mile distance. Pace lights are off. We'll be back racing at the end of this lap. It'll be Sean Jensick and Kevin Asanio leading this race on the front row, 1 and 2. Michael Larch, David Miller, Lane Doyle, despite being caught up in a couple of hairy moments, is going to be restarting in the 3rd row alongside Landon Cardulo, who's worked his way back up inside that top 6. Jose Castellanos has been a magnet for trouble tonight, and he's going to be restarting on row 4 alongside Nathan Nixon, John Holliday, and Michael Madden rounding out the top 10. And I think aside from the top 4, every one of these trucks has some damage out there right now, so this is going to be really, really interesting as we get restarted for the 9th time tonight. Green flag back out, presented by Silverback Tax Solutions. We are back underway with 29 laps to go at Phoenix. Sean Jensick again with one of those giant restarts. And we got trouble mid-pack. One got shot up into the air a little bit, but it looks like we're going to stay green and everybody keeps rolling. I'm not sure how that was saved. It was Jeffrey No, it seems, was the one that kind of popped up in the air. Not sure how everybody keeps that going, but I'm grateful. We're going to see some green flag racing continue here at Phoenix, and I think Sean Jensick might be grateful as well. He's nearly a half second clear of Kevin Asanio, and Trevor Williams spinning down on the apron. He's going to keep it going. He was off the racing surface, so we're going to stay green as well as he rejoins up in the middle of the pack. All kinds of hairy moments here on this restart. Meanwhile, back out front, it just continues to be single file and peaceful for much of this lead pack. Sean Jensick a third of a second ahead of Kevin Asanio, who's about a third of a second ahead of Michael Larch. And then you got Landon Cardulo and David Miller side by side. Cardulo in the 13, Miller on the 21 on the outside. Getting a little bit of help here from Blair Holloman on the outside as well. Remember, Holloman on the freshest tires. He was the first truck off pit road on that last caution with that small group that came down pit road to pick up some tires. So that 10 truck feeling really antsy, wanting to get going. But he's got that side-by-side roadblock here, 4th and 5th place battle, as Cardulo and Miller continuing to stay neck and neck. This race has been going for a couple of laps now, pretty much holding the same exact positions. Great shot here from the aerial cam as Cardulo gonna get clear for the moment. Miller might try to make that nose stick on the outside, not able to do so, and we got caution back out on the racetrack. And we see the 75 truck of James Kerr. Doesn't look like any, well, we see a little bit of damage there on the right rear. So let's see how that got there as we go to the admin box rec replay for the 9th time tonight. And it seems like this might actually be more of the cause as we see the 18 of Richard Rico. A lot of damage on that truck, wondering if it just gave out on him finally and pulled it off the track. So apologies to James Kerr, it wasn't him on that one, but it was the 18 of Richard Rico that will bring out the caution for the 9th time tonight as we go slower as we see hashtag go faster as we are under caution here with 22 laps to go. And while we have this opportunity, let's take one more commercial break here and we'll get reset for the action once we come back here at Phoenix.
Silverback Tax Solutions specializes in dealing with IRS tax problems. If you are receiving threatening letters from the IRS, or if the IRS has placed liens or levies on your property, Silverback Tax Solutions can help you find relief. We have worked with hundreds of people to resolve their tax problems. If you're behind on filing your taxes, it's never too late to get on the right track. Silverback Tax Solutions can help with that also. Don't let another night go by where you lose sleep worrying about the IRS or your taxes. Head over to www.silverbacttax.com or call 662-996-4357 and contact an enrolled agent today. We can help you gain peace of mind and deal with those problems for you.
Want to be a part of an established league on iRacing? A league that's competitive, fun, and above all fair? Look no further than Speed Racing Network. Originally known as Mid-South Madness, SRN has evolved into a league that can bring the best out in any given driver. Drivers work their way up through the ranks to hopefully one day call themselves a champion of Speed Racing Network. If you're interested in joining, don't hesitate to reach out to league admins to claim your spot today. Maybe you'll end up in the history books. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor in Speed Racing Network, feel free to head over to www.speedracingnetwork.com and reach out to an admin today. And as always, remember to go faster.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Lights out on the iRacing pace car. We're ready to get back under green with what will be 19 laps to go at the Sun Devil 110 in Phoenix, Arizona. As it's going to be continuing to be a Sean Jensic controlled race, as he has led much of the distance thus far in the first 90 laps. Kevin Asanio will continue to be P2. Michael Larch will restart in third. Landon Cardulo in fourth. David Miller, Blair Holloman will round out the top 3 rows as we get back underway at Phoenix Raceway for the 10th green flag of the night, brought to you by Silverback Tax Solutions. And yet again, big jump to the inside line as you see not only Sean Jensic, but the 48 of Michael Larch as well with a great jump. Landon Cardulo jumped down from the outside to the inside, but there's contact to Michael Larch in the 48. He's going to keep it straight somehow, but going to lose a lot of ground, as well as Kevin Asanio losing a few spots as well, as he was tucked in right behind Larch when that slide happened. Not sure if there was contact or if he just got loose, but it was a very tight racing moment and a hard hit for Danny Dow. He goes upside down just past the start-finish line. Oh, well, we might need to be checking for a full moon out here in this night race in the desert. As we go to the admin box rec replay yet again, Danny Dow in the white and blue 2 truck just gets loose, overcorrects it, shoots up to the outside. Couldn't quite tell who that was. Oh, is that Lane Doyle, actually? I believe that might have been. See him on the far outside. But Dow just gets loose, corrects it. Yeah, Lane Doyle nowhere to go in that one. Somehow only 2 trucks involved in this. Right on the roof of the 5 of Jose Castellanos, who nearly got in this one. Wow. Barely missing Doyle and then diving back to the outside to get around the flipping truck of Danny Dow. It's a nice avoidance there. And here we are on the roof cam of Lane Doyle, and this is going to be a very abrupt stop. Oh. So the night done for a few more drivers on that one. I'm not too sure if Lane Doyle is going to be able to stay out there. It's pretty heavy front damage. We'll have to see how that works out for him. Danny Dow, after flipping it, that's going to be pretty easily called. That night is done for the 2 truck. And we are down to just 18 trucks on the lead lap in a heavy attrition race here tonight, and one of those being Doyle, so we might quickly be down to 17 here if there is enough significant damage on that. And with Dow's night being done, there's not going to be anybody within 3 laps of the lead lap as well. It's going to be James Kerr 4 laps down. Should be the leader of the group that is off of the lead lap, so there's going to be some potential for people to lose a lap and get it back pretty easily if they have a spin or anything like that, but with 15 laps to go, that window being pretty short at this point. Going to be interesting on this restart. We should have about a dozen laps left, and with all the different strategies that we saw over the cautions around the midway point of the race, we're seeing the top 3 all with 3 different tire strategies. So Sean Jensic out of Rat Pack Racing, 31 lap old tires out in front. Landon Cardulo out of Jonathan Byer Racing is on 26 lap old tires in second. Brad Herman going to be leading a train of trucks on 15 lap old tires. Pretty significant difference there. He'll be in third. The next handful of drivers behind him also came down on that same caution. So that might be something to come into play, but it seems very difficult to be working your way around the race leader, especially When it's that 29 truck of Sean Jensick, he has done a tremendous job of making that truck very wide, very hard to pass. And we'll see if he can do that for another 13 laps, which will be what is left, and hopefully not an unlucky one for this field on a night where there has been plenty of bad luck out there for some of these guys. Here at the Sun Devil 110. I feel impatient during this run. I can only imagine what Sean Jensick feels like working his way down the backstretch leading this field. He's going to do it from the outside. Excuse me, from the inside this time. We saw him from the outside previously. He's going to take that risk this time. There's that big jump once again out of that Geico restart zone. Pretty good job by Landon Cardullo and Brad Herman to keep it somewhat close compared to what we've seen before, but that dogleg cut really playing into the hands of the 29 of Jensick as he pulls away from the 13 of Cardullo. We've got one sideways in the back of the pack. He's going to get it straightened out. We're going to stay green. As Cardullo closing the gap pretty quickly, about 0.2 of a second faster after they got into turn one. But we've seen a few trucks able to get within 0.2 of a second, but nobody able to pass that 29. As the picture tells the story, it looks like the entry to the turn, the 29 a little bit faster, exit of the turn, the 13 a little bit faster, and Brad Herman just sitting there not far behind, ready to pick up the scraps if anything happens. That was the best entry compared for Cardullo against Jensick that we've seen in quite some time. He actually made up some ground, see if he can hold it. Makes a big run to the outside. Had a handful trying to keep that thing straight. A little bit of slider on it. Trying to hang on. He's going to keep that gap within about 1/10 and a half. That power move to the outside as we're within 10 laps to go. Jensick just trying to hang on to this lead. Landon Cardullo stalking very, very close. Only about a truck length separating them. Once again, a high line look for Cardullo. That's actually going to not work this time. He'll lose a couple of tenths, and that's going to pull Brad Herman right to his tailgate. Lead opening up just a few tenths here for Sean Jensick. Now 0.4 of a second ahead of Cardullo, who's just ahead of Brad Herman. Kyle Spees sitting there in fourth. Austin Purnell and Blair Holloman side by side. That the race for fifth and sixth, with Michael Larch making the move as well. Keep an eye on that 48 of Michael Larch. Might not have enough time to make his way up to the lead, but he's on the freshest tires of them all coming down on that last pit stop. He's now worked his way up to position number 6. Their way through turns 3 and 4, out onto the front stretch once again. 6 laps to go here in Phoenix as we ride on board with Michael Larch, taking a look to the inside of Austin Purnell in the 36 truck. This will be the pass for 5th place if Larch can hang on to it, and it looks like he's going to do just that. Not quite clear out of turn number 2. Should be staying within the left rear. Actually going to get cleared once again by the 36. And Purnell did a great job on the outside, using that momentum to stay out in front. Big dogleg cut here for Michael Larch. They are neck and neck making their way into turns 1 and 2. There you see that 36. He's going to get clear for Michael Larch. See if he'll slide up. If he's going to be aggressive, it might open up a little bit of a counter here for Purnell. Speaking of a counter, just in front, Landon Cardulo, he's got some damage on the right side of that truck. I don't think he had that before. I think he caught the wall a little bit ago. Still very, very loose out there. And he's going to be falling back a few spots. That's going to move Brad Herman up to position 2. Kyle Spies up to 3rd. Michael Larch now up to 4th. Larch right on the tailgate of the 25 of Kyle Spies. This is going to be the move for 3rd. Fresh tires playing huge right now, and tell you what, if there's a caution that comes out here that sets up an overtime finish, that 48 truck might be sitting in a pretty golden position. But Sean Jensick opening up about a second lead at this point as the 48 sticks the nose to the inside of the 25. Kyle Spies not quite going to get him clear. He's going to try to take a look to the outside. Spies went for the second block, thought better of it. Little crossover move for Larch to get to the inside as we watch this aerial cam. Looking down at it, great look here as they make their way into 1 and 2. You can really see the difference of the lines, the angles that they take into this turn. Larch just so much more grip in that truck right now with the fresher tires, but great outside momentum for Spies in that 25 as we get ready to take the white flag this time by, and that will go to Sean Jensick. There he comes across the line. Next flag will end it. And he's got about a 1-second gap over Brad Herman. Kyle Spies going to be trying to hold off Michael Larch. That the race for the podium spot in 3rd, but not much of a race right now for Sean Jensick, who's got a second of space between he and Brad Herman in that rear view mirror. Great side-by-side race for 3rd, still playing out between Spies and Larch, but up front, it'll be Sean Jensick picking up the checkered flag at Phoenix. So Jensick entering this race 6th place in points after a 5th place finish last week in Kansas. He'll follow that up with a race win here at the Sun Devil 110. It'll be Brad Herman in 2nd. Kyle Spies did hold on for the 3rd place position. Michael Larch will wind up in 4th with Austin Purnell in 5th. Landon Cardulo, we saw him with that contact there, will fall back to the 6th position as the donuts are underway for that 29 Rat Pack Racing Toyota Tundra. So in the bigger picture of this, looking at the points as well, Blair Holloman, the points leader entering this race, will finish in the 7th position. Ben Park, 2nd in points, 8th in the race. Kyle Spies, 3rd in points, 3rd in the race. So going to be a very tight points race there. Sean Jensick, 6th in points, wins the race, of course, as we see here, our top 18. With Sean Jensick, the race winner by 1.1 second over Brad Herman. Kyle Spies in 3rd, Michael Larch 4th, Austin Purnell in 5th. Next group of 5 will be Landon Cardulo, Blair Holloman, Ben Park, David Miller, and Trevor Williams rounding out the top 10. Kevin Asanio in 11th, Rob Yost in 12th, Jose Castellanos 13th, John Holliday 14th, Bo Tiffany 15th, Sean Kozier in position 16, Mike Lepicki rounding out those on the lead lap in 17th, with James Kerr in 18th, Jeffrey Vickery 19th, and Matt Greathouse rounding out the top 20. So we will see if we can talk to some of these guys out here after a pretty long night in Phoenix. And first up, we got Kyle Spies, who came into this race 3rd in points, leaves tonight 3rd in the race after a very great battle there those last few laps with Michael Larch. But how was the night for you there, Kyle, in that old 25 truck?
Like you said, it was a pretty long night. I'm glad I qualified where I did and was able to stay up front. Looked like a lot of the carnage was behind us. Tip of the cap to Sean there. I know he was on almost 15, maybe 20 lap older tires than us and still picked up the win, so that was awesome for him. And like you said, good battle with Michael. It was a great race all around with these guys tonight. Just had a little hiccup with Matt in there. I didn't mean to bump him out. Other than that, I think it was a fun race up top with every one of these guys.
Definitely entertaining when the green flag was out, that is for sure. But mentioned third place coming into this race in the point standings, and get the week off before we head to first road course of the season with the Charlotte Roval. How do you feel about how the season started, obviously, but also this break? Kind of looking forward to what we come to after the Halloween break.
As far as the team and myself, I think we're doing really well. To start out the season, we've had a few hiccups. Me personally, I started out the season with no force feedback from the Logitech update, so I had to buy a whole new wheel set. And just from the wheel set alone tonight, force feedback helped me a ton. As far as what's coming next, just like I say every year to you guys, just take it one race at a time. Don't expect too much, and when you do really good, it just gives you a bigger bonus for yourself and for the team. Really happy we got the extra week to practice the road course as well. I will need it personally.
Well, that's seems to be a common thought, I think, for many drivers when it comes to the road course. It's just that extra challenge there. But before we send you off, give you a chance to give out any thanks or any team, anything that you want to throw out there here before we let you go.
Yeah, just a quick shout out to you guys. Always first, you guys spend your nights doing the broadcast. Great broadcast, great league to be a part of. Secondly, to Bobby and being a part of our. It's fun being a part of them for the second season, and this season I think we've grown together even more, which makes it even more fun to be here. And then just shout out to my mom and grandma. I'm sure they were in the chat tonight cheering me on. Appreciate you guys watching.
They definitely were. Seeing them in the chat all race long, and always happy to see them and everybody else in the chat. But congrats on yet another podium finish here this season, following up the win at Daytona, third here tonight. So a great run, and we'll catch up with you here in a couple weeks.
I appreciate it, guys.
All right, so that's our third place finisher, Kyle Spees, and see if we can find Brad Herman here, our race runner up, and bring him up here. And here he is, Brad. It's Brandon up in the booth, riding solo tonight, but it seems like after Daytona with the rough start, kind of caught fire here. Back-to-back runner-up finishes. How's that momentum feel coming out of Phoenix with yet another second place?
Yeah, it feels really good. Kind of feel like it was a repeat of last night. Had to do the same thing on the Cup race after having an unfortunate event and going from the back to about mid-pack. But tonight was a lot better result. Just happy to run up towards the front and keep being a contender. Hopefully we'll knock down one of these wins sooner than later and just keep plugging along.
And, after that start, we were kind of talking about the points early on in this race, and a little bit of a surprise seeing you outside of the top 15, but obviously back-to-back seconds should vault you back up into there. But we got the break coming up here this week, and then we get to the road course and a little bit more of a varied schedule compared to what we've been used to. How are you looking forward to the challenges coming up after the Halloween break?
Well, I think the big challenge about this year, and I think the reason also why they did it is the series don't go to the same track. So when I ran both series last year, it really helped me get in tune with having all those laps. Even though they were in a different car, you really get to know how to run that racetrack. But this year it's all different, so all different road courses and everything. It's going to be challenging.
Yeah, just adding a little bit more to the test there for some of the best in SRN, including yourself. But before we let you go and get you a chance to spend a couple weeks of practice for the Roval before we get to that in the truck series, but give you a chance to give out any thank yous here before you send you off.
I just got to say thanks to Zoo Yost and Rat Pack Racing, our coincide sister team. We do a hell of a job working together and helping each other out. Also got to thank Customer Club for being on the truck and TJ's team for helping with the season. I'll have a different paint for them later on this year. And I just got to say sorry to Cardulo. I know we got together a little bit. I tried to give him as much room as I could. I know he probably looked different at that, but I just wanted to give him a sorry there.
I'm sure that'll be an appreciated comment. I don't think we actually caught that on here, but that does kind of explain some things that we were seeing as well. But either way, second place finish, great night there for you, and get you heading into the break with some momentum. We'll catch up with you in a couple weeks.
Thanks, Brandon.
All right, so that's our second place finisher, Brad Herman, and we'll see if we can go find Sean Sean Jensick for the Butt Kicker Victory Lane interview with our race winner and the dominant driver of the night, Sean Jensick in the 29 truck. And Sean up here with me as Sean, it's Brandon riding solo tonight, but it looked like you were riding solo out in front in the lead for much of that race. The dominant performance, how was that out there on what turned out to be a pretty long night, but a long night that saw you out in front for most of it? Sean, you there?
Oh, sorry. I was
hey.
muted. I was talking to myself.
That's 2022 problems right there with Zoom calls.
Yep. No, it was a long night for sure with all those cautions. I was just hoping, at the end there, those cautions keep coming out though, because I didn't pit on lap 80 with a bunch of the other guys around me. But then it turned out I just started pulling away from them, so I was like, hey, let's keep this thing green. And that it did, and it went great.
That's honestly, I was talking about that before that last restart, about how many different tire strategies we saw, and obviously it worked out for you, but what went into that decision there? Was it just thinking that you didn't want to give up the track position, or did you feel comfortable enough on those tires at that point that you didn't think it would be enough of a factor to make that stop and come down pit road?
Yeah, I know my last pit stop there was on lap 64, so when it came to that caution around lap 80 or so, I knew we maybe ran like 5, 6, maybe 7 green flag laps on that. And I was valuing track position a whole lot. That's how I kept the truck clean all night. So I just decided to stay out and just hope that I kept wrecking. And I did. So it worked out.
It definitely did, and looking forward, obviously came into tonight 6th in the point standings, should definitely be moving up, possibly into the top 3 before we get to the first road course of the season in a couple weeks at the Charlotte Roval. Obviously, we saw a lot of carnage out here, aside from your truck, really, but a lot of carnage out here on the first short track of the season. How are you looking forward to the first road course once we get to there after the Halloween break?
Let me tell you, I don't mind road courses. I do like them, but Charlotte Roval is the only thing worse than Coda. So that's how I'm feeling about that.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, I think Dale Earnhardt Jr. called it Frankenstein's monster with the combination of all the factors involved in it, and going to definitely be a challenge. But
you got that one right.
Yeah, but one of the better road racers out here in the truck series. Sure, you'll handle it just fine. But before we get to that and let you go here tonight, give you a chance to give out any thank yous here before we let you go.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Sparkle and Shine and all the other companies associated with them. Premier Setup Shops, too. They're a big help. And all my friends watching right now, too. So I know they'd be pissed off if I didn't say hi to them.
Well, you've avoided that at least. So,
that I have.
But congratulations once again on a dominant performance tonight. And we'll catch up with you here in a couple weeks after the break.
All right, I'll see you.
So that is Sean Jensick, our race winner, and the rest of the top 3 finishers here tonight as we close out the Sun Devil 110 in Phoenix. Again, the Truck Series will be off next week for the Halloween break before they come back on November 2nd for the Roval 80 at the Charlotte Roval. 35 laps around that very challenging circuit. But one more race before we get to the 2-week break, where next week we'll have off. Tomorrow night, the Xfinity Series goes to Kansas for the Jayhawk 150 for 100 laps around a very exciting racetrack, typically for these drivers in SRN. So we're hoping for a heck of a show tomorrow night. Again, here as we close out this Truck Series race, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and joining in the chat as well. I'm Brandon Domain, Greg Olenek, hopefully back here soon, feeling well soon, but appreciative for everything he does for the broadcast as well as all the admins here in the series also. So we will catch you tomorrow night for the Xfinity Series and in 2 weeks for the Truck Series when they resume action. And always forget, see, I knew I was going to make a mistake at some point. As always, don't forget to go faster.